Hi, I'm Mario Guerra, the two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey. And I'm here with my co-host, Eric Pierce, the editor of the great Downey Patriot newspaper. You're listening to Talking Downey with Mario
and Eric. How you doing, Mario?
I'm doing good.
We have a full agenda today.
We got a full agenda.
We have a lot to talk about.
Get going.
It's been a while since we recapped the Downey news.
Absolutely.
We had a city council meeting.
City council meeting last
this
night.
week. Yes. Yeah. And you know what struck me is, well, there was a lot of people in attendance for a couple of reasons. First reason, Stay Gallery.
Stay Gallery.
Stay Gallery, and I think we've spoken about this before, but right here on Downey Avenue, downtown Downey, they're having some funding issues. Since they've been...
They're always having funding issues.
They are, because they've always been funded by the City of Downey, and that's kind of lapsed.
Right.
And so now they're seeking more funding from the City of Downey. Well, first of all, before I get your opinion, you were on the council, you worked closely with the gallery. Roger Brosmer
and I were the downtown subcommittee, and we wanted that. We kind of helped find the spot and the whole thing, and we wanted to help fund them to get it going. So the comment was, look, we'll pay the rent. It's like $2,000 a month. So it was, $48,000 for 2 years. We'll pay the rent, okay? But you got to be self-sustaining after 2 years, okay? So after 2 years, they weren't. They came back to the council. Oh, we ever have to come back? Well, then we shouldn't be in business on there. We'll figure it out. And we're like, okay, all right, 2 more years at 48,000. So that was for 4 years, and then they kept coming back every 2 years. And what they did is they brought a whole bunch of people. There's obviously benefits to having Stay Gallery. Everybody wants it there, but you got to figure out the model how to sustain yourself. They have a for-profit company in there, and then they have this nonprofit that pays the rent there, and that's the part. So at some point, they got to fund themselves. I know they do a lot of stuff for the school district. I don't know what the school, maybe the school district can do that too. But it's been 12, 14 years. So at some point, you gotta weed yourself off of that. So I don't know what the timing is. I want it. I think it's great. I love Stay Gallery on there. I don't think they're open enough, and I don't know what their programming is. But at some point, I don't know. Well, the city can't fund that permanently.
See, and that's my question. And I generally don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's realistic for the gallery to be self-sustaining. It doesn't seem like that's going to be logical or attainable, right? Unless you get the school district to kind of pitch in.
Right.
But even that doesn't make it self-sustaining. I'm curious to know how other cities fund their these type of places. Sure. Because there's a lot of value in terms of culture and the arts and having that in the Downey community.
Sure, I love it.
So I'm curious to know what other cities do. I see the value in a city investing in it, and I think you see it as an investment, right? It's not a business; it's a cultural investment, right?
But then you got to in Councilman Rick Rodriguez. Then when he was on the council, he says, and he met with them. He says, okay, so let's get together a game plan. If the city's going to fund you, tell me what you're going to do, and let's monitor that progress. Okay, which makes sense, right? If I'm going to give you money, I want to know what you're going to do, what's your plans for the next year, what's the next year after that, and stuff. So that's why I think that it got dropped. I don't have a problem per se. I just think that there's got to be expectations. Okay, when are you open? What events are you doing? Give a proposal to the city, and then the city monitor it and then do it. But that's what happens every 2 years. That there's no follow through. Right. So that's what my issue is. It's like, I don't necessarily have a problem with the city funding it if you show me what it is you're going to do.
Right.
And then do it. Don't not do it.
Right.
So I used to have originally, and there's different people now, but the original part was from, I know a lot of not other organizations that were giving them money, some, groups and so forth. And then they weren't getting what they were supposed to be getting. And I knew people that were giving them $10,000 a year that said, we can't do that anymore because you don't follow through kind of stuff. So it's kind of interesting.
I think there has to, I would love to see like a more long-term vision conversation,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
it has to happen. You can't be coming back every 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not good for the city. It's not good for the
No,
county, right?
no,
You
so-
need a long-term commitment, or you
Right.
cut it off, like one or
Right,
the other.
right.
I would be really, really sad if the gallery closes. I
Yeah.
think everybody would,
Yeah.
right? But
See, you're also naming it, calling it a gallery.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know, what is it?
Mhm.
You know, that's the whole point on there. I don't know if it's really a gallery. A gallery to me says you're gonna go in there and look at pretty pictures,
Uh-huh.
which they do sometimes, and especially
Sure.
when they have the youth events. Those are awesome, you know,
Right.
so you get some of that. But-
well, and you get that, and then you get the workshops and that.
yeah, and there's all kinds of great things out there that could happen.
I
and you have
took a photography workshop there,
Yeah.
and it was great.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to get that anywhere else,
Yeah.
and it fills a very specific need.
Yeah,
But I think there could be improvement
Yeah.
in the way it operates, or more transparency. I don't know what the word
I
is.
think that's what we've all been talking about, so, but it was kind of, you know, again, this is what they do every so many years. You know, last night they brought a whole bunch of people there, it wasn't even on the agenda.
Mhm.
It was just because they're short of money
Right.
on there, so if I'm a council person, it's like, that's not the best way to approach me on there, bring 20 people here.
Uh-huh.
So, but it did get put on the agenda on there, Councilman Sosa said, okay, put it on next month's agenda and let's talk about
Have a
it. and
discussion.
have a discussion on it, so,
Right.
we'll see, so at least that's.
There was a story in the Downey Patriot saying that if they don't get a funding commitment, that they might have to close by January. So a decision has to be made fairly soon, one way or
Right.
another, to
Right.
see how it goes.
Right, right.
We'll
Well, I've heard that same comment now 8 times.
Sure.
I mean, in different times
Yeah.
throughout the last 12 years.
Sure.
And again, I'm for it. I was one of the originators that helped set that up.
right.
So I think the concept is beautiful, and I think it needs to, and I think we need to have it. But there's got to be more accountability. I think it's what it's a word on it.
Right.
I don't want to take all the public arts funds that the city gets just for that.
Sure.
There's got to be more spread out
Absolutely.
and so forth. So.
And I'm curious how other cities invest in their cultural arts.
And I agree with that.
I don't know.
I don't know that either.
happens.
I don't know that either, so, okay.
Something else that happened is YMCA.
Yes,
They approached the city asking for fee waivers. You know, the Y is building, they're building a new facility.
it's beautiful.
It is.
It's gonna be
It's
great.
going to be located where the current facility is. They're going to tear that down, build brand new. It is, several $1 million. They're
20.
asking $20 million.
20, it's more than several. They got
Several.
several. They have about 14.
And so they're asking for fee waivers, and they got it. They got
They got some of it on there. Yeah, the fee, they came to the city and asked to waive some fees on their permit. Remember, you're talking a $20 million project, so there's a lot of inspections, there's outside engineers that you send it to and everything else. So altogether, there was gonna be over a 2 or 3 year period, like $458,000 in fees, which is pretty normal on a $20 million project, if you will. And that was for, public works, inspection, blueprints, planning, all the other different things. So the staff came back to the city with options. The whole thing is 458. That was option 2. Option 3 was to do nothing. And what they ended up settling, they had a lot of people there with option 1, where the city waives half of the fees. And they discussed how to do that and what to do and everything else. I mean, the YMCA, I mean, self-disclosure, I am on the YMCA board. I wasn't there last night. But I am on the YMCA board. I've contributed 5 figures towards this campaign because I think it's important. Been a member of the Y for many years, even when I was little, my whole family. So it's got such a great purpose besides the pools and the after-school care, the senior care, all these things. It's going to be great. It's sad every day driving by there. We've been out without it for 3 years, So, but it's a tough call because you're giving away the city's money, and we talked about this before. Having said that, at what point, who comes next?
Right.
What project comes next that's a worthwhile project, so.
How do you say no? Because even before the Y, it was Bastards for the Veterans Day event.
Yeah.
The city waived fees, so it's every organization can make a case, right?
Yeah.
But
We had a downtown district committee on there, and that, I guess that event could do a better job of cleaning up after
it was
itself.
yeah.
And that, I'm kind of curious what their foundation, who they give money to, that Save the Brave Foundation, that'd be good thing on there for them to brag about, because I looked at their signs as bastards in conjunction with, and then we got some of the complaints, and they haven't paid all their fees for a while, so we'll see, but yeah, that's something else, to see, they should brag about what they're doing
Sure.
for the veterans.
So the YMCA, even half, 50% is so significant. It was
Yeah.
200 and something thousand
Yeah,
dollars.
yeah, significant, yeah, no.
I've spoken to some YMCA board members, and I can't speak for them, but what they told me personally was that they wanted the city to have some skin in the game, right? Because this is a $20 million facility,
Right.
city's going to benefit from. They wanted the city to kind of buy in, and the Y asked the city previously for an actual cash donation.
Right.
That couldn't happen. So this is a compromise. It's so significant compromise.
It's a very, very significant, so.
A lot of people, in Downey, we brag about having our own police department, our own school district, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But the YMCA is in there too, because not a lot of communities are
Right.
lucky enough to have a YMCA.
Right, and it came up down there, that other cities even have, Boys and Girls Club, and we don't have that, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've missed it. I mean, where do our kids, I guess we have some swimming programs maybe at our pool, city pool, but where do kids go to learn to swim? I
Yeah.
mean, some of the after-school care the Y was providing is provided by, private people and so forth, so it does provide a significant benefit to our community. I'm proud to be a board member. I'm proud on there. I miss going there. Maybe that's why I've gained more weight. But you see the same people there, working out and stuff. So.
I would see people. I would go in the mornings, and then there was this older gentleman who would come in with a box of donuts.
Oh, wow.
Which was really funny.
Yeah, you're gonna go work out with donuts.
You can have a donut. That's really funny, yeah.
See, now you made me hungry for a donut on there. So.
Awesome.
So one other thing that came up last night at council meeting was the potential for community garden.
Okay.
Yeah, where to talk
Right.
about. So what are your thoughts on a community garden?
This is I'm going to give a very, I think, unpopular opinion,
Uh-huh.
but who's asking for a community garden? I know a few people are asking for a community garden. Are that many people wanting a community garden? I feel like it's a very small number of people who want it, who are going to be utilizing it. I guess I just don't get it. Maybe I just have to be educated on it.
Yeah.
I just don't get. I would rather have a dog park, and I know that's we've had discussions.
Yeah.
That's probably going to happen, but a community garden. Why is this such a pressing issue? It
Yeah.
seems like this is something that's been
Right.
on the agenda, has been
Right.
spoken about. I don't get it.
I was talked out of it by, he's a city manager in another city now, then he was our economic development director, when I pushed that too, and probably 12, 13 years ago. And I wanted it just north of Rio Hondo Golf Course. There's that land right underneath Edison, underneath the power poles, and so forth. And the parking was good because it was a side street and everything else. But kind of with that same argument. Listen, you gotta maintain it, you gotta
Yeah.
have water, you gotta have issues, is that something that there's an overwhelming demand and support
Right.
for? So, I don't know if things change now, maybe health habits of people want their own fresh grown, I don't know, can't you grow that in your backyard too? Can you grow tomatoes in your backyard?
I guess, but there are a lot of people who don't have. I don't have the backyard.
Sure.
So-
The three areas that the staff came back to the council was Rio San Gabriel Park in the back over there, where that's gonna be a new parking lot, by the way. So in the park back there, Wilderness Park, okay, and then Treasure Island. And they all had pros and cons on there, so
Sure.
they discussed it. So it looked like the council was leaning, actually, they did give a 4-0, they voted on it. Councilman Sosa led the motion on there, 4-0, to have staff continue looking at Rio San Gabriel. That seems to be the preferred option.
It seems like the more logical.
Yeah, it's out of the way, it's got potential for growth and
Yeah.
so forth on there, and close to a parking lot, accessibility and so forth.
I'm
So we'll see.
curious how much it's going to cost, how it's going to be maintained.
Yeah, who's
You
gonna
know,
maintain it?
Who's going to maintain it?
You know.
And how does it work? Can you just walk in there and just plant things? And
I don't know.
I'm not a garden person.
All right.
I
Well,
don't
you're a
know.
newspaper journalist, so those stories are the
Yeah.
stories that people
Those are-
want to hear.
People have questions. I have
You
questions.
set it up, so
Yeah.
you go answer your own questions, Mr. Journalist, on there.
Yeah.
So, let me see here, what else? So, they had a lot of people last night, they had like 37 doing public comment between the
Yeah.
YMCA and this, and then you had the gadflies, the typical
Sure.
gadflies, so forth. But, you know, overall, things are moving well in our city.
Yeah.
I know our mayor's only got a couple weeks to go as mayor. I know
Yeah.
that the parade, the Downey Parade is coming up December 3rd.
December 3rd.
That's always a big deal for our
Yeah.
city, and that's really good. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
You're not too excited about it. I go by your office now, you can't even move, it's your first time there.
It's fine.
I love it. I always come now after I've been off the council with, obviously, with the United States Army. So we get a Humvee and they you know, I get to ride in it and so forth. So it's always as CASA. So I really
Yeah.
do enjoy it. And this year that, I think my grandson from West Downey Lily, they're gonna have a thing there and so forth. So.
The parade's improved the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I do. My only thing is my main thing is I want to see more celebrities there, and that's been brought up, and I think it's been a purposeful decision not to include celebrities, but to make it more of a community parade, and I get that.
Yeah.
But remember we had Evan Longoria, the
Yeah.
baseball player. You
I know, I
brought
have,
him.
yeah.
That was
He
cool.
played
He's
a
a
little league
major
there.
league baseball player.
Yeah, he's still playing.
He still plays, yeah. So we have some people from Downey, or you know,
Yeah, yeah.
Who would write in there. So I would love to see that.
So that they made a decision on that. I mean, I always
That's
thought
what
that
I
was
was
something they
told,
were.
yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. They should. They should
Why
try to get
not?
one or two.
And you can still make it a community.
Yeah, and all you have to do is go. I mean, go to the Downey or Warren Hall of Fame. Look at the people up on their Hall of Fame member. Any one of those is
Sure.
a celebrity in our
Yeah.
city because obviously they were good enough to be there.
Grand Marshal Suzanne Marquez, news reporter.
Oh,
Channel 2. So,
okay.
Grand Marshal. So yeah,
How do they pick
December 3rd.
her for Grand Marshal? I mean, I don't have anything against her, but you know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Downey High School Hall of Famer. But yeah. So December 3rd. New this year is there's going to be shopping vendors through Downey Collective. It's a new like event arm of the Downey Patriot. They're gonna be doing events. So they have food trucks and food vendors
At the parade?
at the parade.
Wow.
So over on Downey and Third,
Oh, wow.
in some of the parking lots.
Uh-huh.
So, which I love. I think it's a great idea. So you can actually go get some food
Yeah.
and go. Go back
I
sit
want
down.
I want the bacon wrapped dogs. So I was at the UCLA game Saturday night. You know, when you come out of the stadium, there's 50 people that got
Oh, yeah.
that's selling the vendors, and it just smells so amazing.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have one at the Coliseum this weekend.
Those are.
So I don't get mugged first at the Coliseum area, you know, so for the SC game.
Yeah.
But okay, hey, what do you do for Thanksgiving?
You know what? It's going to be very low key. I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm going
Yeah,
to eat.
yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite holidays.
Me too. It is by far my favorite holiday.
And you know why? This is my reason. It's almost guaranteed 4 days off, which
Yeah.
is really nice because
Yeah.
nobody's sending emails. Unless there's breaking news, I'll
Yeah.
be working.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be
Yeah.
4 days of relaxation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is it your favorite
It's
holiday?
but first of all, it's eating.
Yeah.
Number two, it's family. So we got the family coming over. You know, Haley and Ty and the grandkids and stuff like that. So they're all coming over, and they're Ian and her already planning with pies
Yeah.
and all the other stuff. So I love the food thing. You do get into that food coma, but you can stay up late because the next day you don't have to get up.
Yeah.
And the next day is usually I'll go for a long bike ride or do something.
Yeah.
It's just, you're right, it's a 4-day thing. Doesn't happen where there's no responsibilities, no nothing that you have to do. I think this year we have the cow game is on that Saturday, which is great. Hopefully we'll win. I get a pastrami sandwich from the hat for when we win. So
Do you,
anyway,
do you guys cook or do you buy the food?
no, we cook.
You
And
cook.
I offered that before. And Nan's
Sure.
like, she was insulted that I would. You know what I like, and then they're going to do it for Friday. I like the Costco turkey breast.
Mhm.
That's already cooked and everything else on there. It's just awesome.
Uh-huh.
You know, on there, and you can slice it on there. It makes even better turkey sandwich.
Uh-huh.
So Ann won't do that for things. She needs to have the
Mhm.
whole bird. But she says, I'll get you one for Friday, so that way it's easier white meat.
Yeah.
You know, to slice
Oh,
it and make
good,
sandwich. That's the best
good.
part is the sandwich with the stuffing. My Ann makes my mom's stuffing on there, and Uncle Daryl's stuffing. It's got a lot of
You know what I
peppers.
get from Costco is the cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
And I mean, they sell them year round, but
Yeah.
I feel really like guilty
Yeah.
eating them.
Yeah.
But on Thanksgiving is the day when, guilt free, you can enjoy the
Okay.
cinnamon rolls.
And
Right.
if you watch this on their cinnamon rolls from Costco,
Yes.
I gotta make
Get
a
me
con-
one, please.
Yeah, I gotta make. You know what's good there too? They're pumpkin pies. Haley's always makes pies, and I said, don't bake a pumpkin one. She's gonna
Uh-huh.
bake a boysenberry and something else. But the pumpkin pies at Costco are so big.
Oh, they're huge.
They're cheap.
cheap.
They're
Yes,
cheap
they're
and they're
cheap.
big and stuff. And then I usually go to Porto's full of bolillos. And somebody said the other day, one of my kids says, Dad, go to Vallarta
Yeah.
and get their bolillos for bread
Oh, yeah.
because they're really easy. In case
Huh.
sometimes Porto's line gets big, you
Right.
pre-order and the whole thing. But I forgot about it, so I might be in charge of pies and. I'm getting hungry.
I know, me too. Really quick, because we have
Yes.
to stop because
Yes.
we're getting too hungry.
Yeah.
Last year, what we did is I bought a pumpkin pie from Costco,
Uh-huh.
and a little trick because they're so big.
Yeah.
Is I got a shot glass,
Uh-huh.
and you kind of scoop it out, right? So
Uh-huh.
you get like a little piece of pumpkin pie,
Uh-huh.
and you put them on a platter, and you just put like little whipped cream on them. So it's like a little taste of pumpkin pie.
No
And
way.
it's really good because the pie's so huge.
It is so
right?
huge.
So instead of like slices, you just use like a shot glass.
Look
get
at
little
you,
pieces, and
Mr.
they're
Gourmet
good.
Guy.
I saw it on TikTok.
Oh.
But it works. It really works.
So Ann and Haley, I forward them stuff all the time like that. You know, somebody that makes this, the bread thing, and then you put the ground beef in it,
Yeah.
the cheese thing, and you bake it for
Uh-huh.
25 minutes. I do those all the time, and I'm just hoping that they get the hint. Like, make me this sometime.
One day, yeah.
No. They said, oh. Okay, and
Interesting.
never. Anyway, all right, we're getting off track here.
Yeah, we are.
This is talking about Downey, okay?
We're more passionate about the food. Than
I
the
know.
city council,
We
yeah.
both got up, started laughing and so forth. We don't
I
care
know.
about the community.
gallery or-
Yeah, our community. We do. We do. And by the way, so God bless you. We want to also we're in being grateful on here. Thank you to Financial Partners Credit Union. This show couldn't be possible without them. They're just as stable in our community, and Nader, the CEO, he's the CEO also of the Columbia Memorial Space Center, which I'm proud to be on that board with him. And there's so many things they do in our community, financial literacy, and they've been here for 80 years. So I want to thank them. I always give them a plug. I think we forgot to mention them in our last episode.
They're sponsors of the Downey Christmas Parade.
Downey Christmas
They
Parade,
make so many
Rocket
things.
Fever,
Yes.
all these things on there. Girls in STEM, they're just really, really involved, and they put their money where their mouth is. But on the Christmas Parade, for example, Nader, their CEO, and their entire top staff and their board of directors will be marching in it.
Yeah.
They every year that they do that, so they really say, Downey, you're our home. They got 16 branches,
Yeah.
$2 billion in assets on
They
there. but
embrace
don't-
it.
Yeah, they embrace
Yeah.
it. So, all right. So I think we covered most of the basic things we
Yeah.
wanted to say about this.
Yeah.
Write to us, call us, tell us to shut up about food, or give us your food hints. We'll get these on and stuff. And isn't this nice when we can talk about everything else but the E word?
Yes.
And stuff. So, anyways, folks, God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving. We hope that you're well and your family. Keep all our military and veterans in your prayers, and be grateful for the great country that we have. I know I am. Coming as a refugee, this country has embraced me and loved me, and it's my opportunity to give back a little bit. But yeah, we live in the greatest country in the history of the world. So, Anyways, thank you so much for watching, for listening, for talking Downey with Mario.
And Eric.